Welcome to Podnutz Daily for August 22nd, 2008, episode number 62. I went to the Phillies game last night. Didn't have a show yesterday. Had some decent tickets. Me and my brother took my dad out for his birthday. Took him to the Phillies game, and Phillies lost. And it was a boring game up until like the sixth inning. Then there was a couple hits, and then the Phillies lost. But it was still a good game. It's just fun to go down to the stadium. All right. On suggestion from a listener, I'm sorry, I can't remember who suggested this, but Google Notebook I'm using now instead of Evernote. In my Firefox browser, I got the Google Notebook plugin, and throughout the day, I'll just put all the things I want to talk about for Podnutz Daily into the Google Notebook, and then I come home, I fire up Firefox, and I got all my notes right there, so I could read off my show notes and keep track of them as I go along the way. I was using Evernote, but Evernote's in beta right now, and it's probably going to charge for it when it's out of beta, so might as well get out while I have the chance, and Google Notebook's working just fine. So good suggestion. Thank you, whoever suggested that. Okay. All right. A desktop fix today. Had a no, it wasn't even a desktop. It was a laptop. Had a badly infested laptop with spyware and adware. And I go through my normal procedure. If you don't know it by now, then just refer to past episodes of Podnutz to get rid of all the spyware, adware, viruses, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this one had a piece of spyware, so I thought, that wouldn't go away. Every time we loaded Windows, we'd get a box pop up saying the computer is infested with spyware or something along those lines. And we had something similar to this before, so we figured it out kind of fast that once you go through all your steps, you get rid of all the adware, spyware, and you do all the steps, and you know the computer's clean, and you still get this lingering pop-up, change the background. It's basically a background image. It's a graphic. It's not an actual pop-up. Because if you try to X out of it, you don't get any response. So usually it's the yellow and blue bar that says your computer is infected with spyware. This one was actually, it looked like a Vista window. But every time you hover the mouse over it, you couldn't move it. You couldn't exit out. You couldn't do anything. So, we figured out it was just a background graphic. It was a JPEG. So you change your background graphic and it goes away. But you got to make sure you do that after you remove all the spyware and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that. A customer had an HP laptop, wanted Vista downgraded to XP, so I did that with my driver's packs. Makes it real easy. I think the only drivers I had to load after driver packs were the modem. I think the modem and like the SD card slot or something like that. So I like driver packs for that. But here's the thing. The other problem she was having with that laptop, this is a new one. It's a DV6000 model. Other problems she was having with her laptop are newish one. I don't know if they're still selling the DV6000. Anyway, other problem she was having with her laptop was her battery wasn't charging. And when the battery was in, the computer recognized that the battery was there, but you would get the battery light blink, 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 constant light blinking. And the computer recognized the battery was there, but it would not charge it. So it could be one of two things here. It could be something wrong with the circuitry in the motherboard that's not charging the battery, which I was hoping it wasn't, or it could be the battery. Now, if you have a newish computer and you don't have an extra battery you could test this out with, instead of ordering one, just take it to the store. Take it into Best Buy and just say, look, I need to check this out. Can I just test one of those batteries in this one? And, you get a nice salesman who will let you do that sometimes. Luckily, my dad had a laptop that had the same battery, so I just pull it out of there. But my plan was because my dad was away for a couple days on vacation, before I realized that he had that computer, that battery would work, I was ready to just go over to Best Buy and just try it, or Circuit City or somewhere. Pop out one of their batteries and try it in mine, or the customers. Anyway, it turned out it was the battery. We replaced the battery, and the battery charged just fine, so we're going to order a new battery. Now, here's what I suggest for batteries. Batteries are expensive. You can go on eBay and find cheapy batteries, but I don't trust them. You don't want to really mess with the batteries of a laptop. If you get a cheap model, it might either explode on you, or it might leak into the circuitry of the motherboard, or it might die in a week. So if you could get away with buying a name brand battery, like if it's an HP computer, buy an HP battery. I would really recommend that. I would spend the extra money on that. So instead of spending like $30 for a battery, we're probably going to spend like $50 or $60 to get a battery, but it's an HP battery. Now, I had a customer had a desktop computer. He basically wanted, it's a newish model desktop. He basically wanted a backup computer in case this one failed. So he brought in an older Pentium 4, like one of the first Pentium 4s that looked like Dell Dimension, old school Dell Dimension. He wanted that set up exactly like his other one. So what I tried to do, and I didn't know if this was going to work or not, was clone the hard drive from the new one using a Acronis True Image, and take the cloned disk and put it into the old one, boot it up, and hopefully it would work fine. Now, it didn't, because when you install Windows in one computer, all the drivers are loaded for one motherboard. If you put it into another computer, it will need to load the drivers for the second motherboard, but sometimes it doesn't boot. In this case, it didn't boot. So what I did was just to do a Windows repair, which sets the cloned disk up now for the new. I put the cloned disk into the older computer, and when it didn't boot, I just put in Windows disk and did a Windows repair on it, and that made it so it could boot now. So it needed to set it up for the new hardware in that computer. So sometimes cloning a disk and trying to put it into another computer will not work unless it's the same exact model. I've had experiences where it does work, so I just decided to give it a shot. It didn't. I ran a Windows repair, and that fixed everything. And a Windows repair is good because you don't have to reinstall all the programs or set up all the settings. It just basically rewrites all the Windows files. So, had one customer come in. She said, "Oh, it's an easy job because we're swamped at the shop. So I don't have a lot of time to do jobs on demand. You know, I just do them in order as I get them." She's like, "Oh, it's just an easy job. You just need you to transfer data from one computer to another." So she brought the computers in. Well, one was a Windows 2000 machine and one was a Vista machine. And the data she wanted transferred over was several gigabytes worth of data. And if you ever tried moving data on gigabytes of data on a flash drive, saving it to the drive originally is a painfully slow process. And on top of that, the Windows 2000 machine was not USB 2.0. So there's a couple ways to get a fast data transfer. You could use a crossover cable, which I did not choose to do until it was too late because I was trying other methods. If you're set up on a network, you could set up both machines' hard drives as shareable and then just bounce them from one to another. Or you could save them to like a CD or DVD and then put it in another computer. I think all of those ways are faster than doing it to a flash drive that on a USB 1.1 speed port. Anyway, it was a nightmare because none of the things I tried worked. It took forever, but it finally got done. I have one customer here. This is he wasn't real happy when he left, and I don't get too many customers like that, but this customer wasn't real happy. It started